So, as it turns out, Donald Trump has withdrawn his nomination of Matt Gaetz and he has supplemented that or replaced Gaetz with this woman, Pam Bondi. And I know nothing about her. And it seems like most people don't know a heck of a lot about her. She's not someone who's very entrenched in the Washington scene. She's the former Florida Attorney General, that much we know, and she's a staunch supporter of Donald Trump, that much we know. And so I thought to myself, I was watching a video of her where it was at one of the conventions and the crowd was yelling, I think it was in 2016, the crowd was yelling, lock her up, referring to former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. And Bondi replied with a smile, I love that. She loved this idea of locking up Hillary. And so I was wondering, because I always have to go for, the jugular, what will happen if the Senate confirms Pam Bondi and everyone's worst fears come true, that she really is very partisan. This is what everyone is saying. I don't know her, so I'm not saying it. I'm just repeating what I've heard. That she's very partisan and her loyalty to Trump is, unimpeachable. And so people are saying that she's going to use the Department of Justice to settle scores for Trump and to assuage all of his various grievances. And so I was just wondering whether she will now pursue charges against Hillary. And, you know, I don't know. I mean, whether that's even a realistic, not unrealistic, but is this fair, just irrational, or is there any possibility that her unwavering allegiance to Trump will set the stage for a legal battle targeting the former Secretary of State, right? Now, we know that Bondi's history with Trump is deeply rooted in their mutual disdain of Hillary Clinton. I mean, that's what all of the experts and pundits are saying. And as I said at the 2016 National Convention, she infamously agreed with the crowd and smiled and said, I love that, when the crowd chanted, lock her up, lock her up. And I think, we can all agree that if she did indeed say that, and she did, that this moment solidified her as an advocate of Donald Trump. And as such, um, I just wonder whether Hillary could face legal consequences for her alleged mishandling of classified information and other, accusations stemming from her tenure as Secretary of State. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think, you guys? Is there anything here? Or do we have to worry about Pam Bondi getting revenge on Hillary Clinton? I mean, as Attorney General, Bondi will definitely have the authority to direct federal law enforcement agencies and prosecutors, right? Apparently, she has a 18-year background as a prosecutor, and she's a two-term Florida Attorney General, right? So she does have experience as compared to a guy like Matt Gaetz, who everybody seems to concur had no prosecutorial experience whatsoever. He was just completely not qualified. He was like literally a DEI hire, but because of his race, he's not ever going to be called a DEI hire, but he just had no experience. I mean, his whole claim to fame was, it's the diversity of his lack of experience. It's there's a diversity of lacking of experience, different types of lacking of experience. And in his case, he had no prosecutorial experience whatsoever. So he effectively was a DEI nomination. And compared to him, you've got this woman, Pam Bondi, who does have experience with high profile cases as the two-time Florida Attorney General. So, will she go after Hillary? Many of the allegations against Hillary, particularly concerning the use of her private email server, have already been thoroughly investigated. And we saw what happened when with the Attorney General, James Comey, and how at the last minute he came out and he basically ruined whatever chance was left for Hillary to win that election, right? But these claims have already been thoroughly investigated, right? And they cost Hillary the election, right? And but the conclusion was, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, at that time was that while her actions were certainly careless, that they did not warrant criminal charges. So it would seem to me that reviving these claims would be viewed as very partisan, very political, politically motivated, especially given Bondi's vocal support for Donald Trump and what she said at that rally. I would love that, right? The other thing is that any legal action against Hillary Clinton at this point would, likely face some tremendous scrutiny from at least from public opinion. I'm not sure about the judiciary, although I want to say from the judiciary as well. But at this point, I'm not really sure what I even think of the judiciary writ large. Okay, across the country, federal, state, I'm just like, whatever. And but with public opinion, and I mean, I think I've done a video recently with the Diddy case where I have cautioned against this sort of social justice where public opinion informs what judges and prosecutors and even defense attorneys do, right? But in this particular case, given that the political nature of this particular, if such a case were to be brought by Pam Bondi, I think that it would create, I think it would create a tremendous social uproar, you know, and God forbid there should be a conviction. I mean, wow, although I do think to get a conviction in this case, Bondi would need to have incontrovertible evidence that surpasses what Comey has already been privy to that shows that Hillary committed a crime rather than just being reckless. And that's a very high bar given that, the Comey FBI has already conducted exhaustive probes into this particular matter. That all said, Bondi's role as a loyal Trump ally raises questions about her impartiality, even among the most sort of partial members of her own party. And her close ties to the former president and her open support for these partisan chants at the campaign rally, I think would undermine her credibility as Attorney General if she were to bring a case against Hillary Clinton. But I don't think that will necessarily stop her. What do you think, right? Um, I just personally think that leveraging the justice system to target a political rival will only deepen the national divisions in the country, and it will cast doubt on the sort of fairness of federal law enforcement, and it would reflect badly on Bondi herself, I think, So will she bring charges against Hillary? I don't know, but whether or not she can or will successfully pursue charges against Hillary remains to be seen, but any such attempt, I think, will ignite a firestorm of controversy in the country. It will be really, really horrible. It will be something to watch. But in these days in which we live, you can't rule anything out. Anyway, you guys, that's all for this one. See you in the next one. Do tell me what your thoughts are about this in the comments, especially if you're an expert, because we're not experts over here at Marian Chronicles. Okay, sign up, subscribe, thumbs up.